Welcome back. The 90s was a period of great change in gaming, with the development of CD-ROMs and 3D graphics. IGN refers to this period as gaming's newfound maturity, but also a period of rampant rebellion. Gaming's teenage years, so to speak. Let's take a look. The first game is Action 52. It was developed for the Nintendo Entertainment System in 1991 by Active Enterprises. It contains 52 original games covering various genres, from shoot-'em-ups to platformers. Action 52 is one of the most infamous NES games for a number of reasons. The game originally retailed for over $199, which works out around $4 per game. Many of the games have poor controls and graphics, and are plagued by bizarre glitches and technical problems. Some games are impossible to complete and some will not load. Killscreen described all the games as
absolute shit.
Atari HQ went further, calling it
really horribly, incredibly bad. The worst game of all time.
GameSpy named it the fifth most shameful game ever, summarizing it as an
endless parade of inept programming, repetitive design, and outright stupidity.
Next up is Night Trap, an interactive movie video game originally published by Sega in 1992 for the Sega CD. It was the first interactive movie released for the system and had initially received mixed reviews. Critics praised its smooth video animation and humor, but disliked its shallow gameplay. The game became infamous after it was scrutinized during the 1993 United States Senate Committee hearings on violence in video games. Senator Joe Lieberman claimed Night Trap featured gratuitous violence and promoted sexual aggression against women.
Thanks, Control. That was close. Come on, you guys, you gotta help me. Please, use the traps.
The game was removed from the shelves of the two largest toy store chains in the U.S., Toys R Us and KB Toys, due to numerous complaints. After the controversy subsided, Night Trap was ported to multiple platforms, but these were reviewed harshly. Critics felt the game had not aged well and considered its gameplay dull.
And you were very good. You saved all my friends. Trapped most of the Oggs. I'll bet with a little practice you can be perfect.
GameFan called it
a so-so game that got a lot more attention than it deserved.
Retrospectively, Night Trap has been ranked as one of the worst games of all time. Next, Plumbers Don't Wear Ties. A limited 1993 release for MS-DOS, along with the 3DO version 1 year later. It was advertised as being an adult-orientated romantic comedy, visual novel/dating sim. However, besides an opening cut scene, the game's story is told through static images. The game received negative attention due to its sexist storyline and poor voice acting.
Man, I blew it. It wasn't her, it's me. I gotta get some balls when it comes to meeting chicks.
So, who do you want to make the first move? If you want John to do it, hit A now.
Jane may be daddy's girl, but she's no slouch when it comes to getting what she wants. Besides, John's really a wimp.
Uproxx's Dan Seitz felt
its constant use of still images was the single saddest attempt to simulate a dream sequence ever.
You saying I ain't man enough for you? I'm just your size.
You won't be after this.
Ooh.
IGN felt the game was
a symbol for everything that was wrong and strengthened the perception the 3DO's library was riddled with crap.
Maybe if my skin were a different color. Chicks don't like white guys anymore. They think we're too straight. Anglo's got no rhythm.
Next up, Bubsy 3D, a platform game for the Sony PlayStation. The game was negatively received due to its disorientating camera, poor graphics, and sluggish controls. Sushi X of Electronic Gaming Monthly declared it.
My first coaster award. Pretend your controller is filled with mud, as this is how Bubsy plays.
Game Trailers named it their 8th worst video game ever made and referred to it as a ripoff of Super Mario 64, which released nearly 2 months prior. Bubsy series creator Michael Berlin cited the game as his biggest failure. Our final game today needs very little introduction.
Then there's no time to waste.
Titus Interactive's Superman for the Nintendo 64 has a player control Superman as he is challenged by his nemesis Lex Luthor to help save the people of Metropolis. Upon release, the game was heavily panned for its unnecessary repetitiveness, difficult and confusing objectives, poor controls, numerous glitches, and poor graphics. Notoriously, the game has an introductory ring maze sequence that the player is given no warning about, and has a time limit that leaves nearly no room for error. This was exacerbated by the extremely short draw distances covered by distance fog. Titus stated,
"While we had grander plans for the game, the licensor killed us, and the final game only represents about 10% of what we wanted to include."
Superman was listed as the worst game of all time by Game Trailers, the worst game on a Nintendo platform by Nintendo Power, and as the worst video game adaptation of a comic book by both GameSpy and Game Daily. Well, that's it. See you again soon, and thanks for watching.